Reading about the Islamic State in the news every day is about as close as you can get to reading the Hadith. The Hadith are stories about Muhammad and his companions. You open the Hadith and what do you find? You find beheadings, killing apostates, killing hypocrites, raping women, taking women as sex slaves, mass executions, forced conversions, and so on. You open today's newspaper and what do you find? You find beheadings, killing apostates, killing hypocrites, raping women, taking women as sex slaves, mass executions, forced conversions, and so on. The only difference between the Islamic State and Muhammad's state is one of technology. The Islamic State has modern weapons and social media to make them more effective at doing what their prophet did. And yet our leaders see no connection between the Islamic State and Muhammad. One of the main objections we keep hearing from Western leaders and the media is that the Islamic State is killing Muslims, and therefore the Islamic State doesn't represent Islam. The assumption here is that Islam forbids the killing of Muslims in all circumstances, and that's just nonsense. According to Muhammad, there are 3 reasons to kill someone who has become a Muslim. In Sunan an-Nasai 4062 we read, "The Messenger of Allah said, 'It is not permissible to shed the blood of a Muslim except in 3 cases, a man who commits adultery after having married, or one who kills intentionally, in which case he deserves retaliation, or one who apostatizes after having become a Muslim, in which case he deserves to be killed.'" So if you become a Muslim and you commit adultery, Muslims are supposed to kill you. If you become a Muslim and you kill one of your fellow Muslims without justification, Muslims are supposed to kill you. And if you become a Muslim and you apostatize, you leave the religion, Muslims are supposed to kill you. Now, we tend to think of apostasy as standing up and declaring, "I renounce Islam. I no longer believe in Muhammad." But Islam has a much, much broader view of apostasy. There are lots of ways to become an apostate in Islam, whether you officially renounce the religion or not. Consider Surah 5, verse 51 of the Quran. "O you who believe, do not take the Jews and the Christians for friends. They are friends of each other. And whoever amongst you takes them for a friend, then surely he is one of them." Notice what this verse says. Don't be friends with Jews and Christians. If you're friends with Jews and Christians, you're not really a Muslim. You're one of them. Why? Because Allah told you not to be friends with them. So if you decide to be friends with Jews and Christians when Allah told you not to do that, you're choosing them over Allah. You're an apostate. And what did Muhammad say was the penalty for apostasy? When Muhammad died, lots of people left Islam in various ways. Some of them completely renounced Islam, but some of them simply refused to pay zakat to the administration of Abu Bakr. What's interesting is that Abu Bakr put all of them in the same category. He labeled all of them apostates. Let's read a passage on this. Sahih al-Bukhari, 7284. "When Allah's messenger died and Abu Bakr was elected as a caliph after him, some of the Arabs reverted to disbelief. Umar said to Abu Bakr, 'How dare you fight the people?' While Allah's messenger said, 'I have been ordered to fight the people till they say La ilaha illallah, and whoever says La ilaha illallah saves his wealth and his life from me, unless he deserves a legal punishment justly, and his account will be with Allah.' Abu Bakr said, 'By Allah, I will fight him who discriminates between zakat and salat,' prayers. 'For zakat is the compulsory right to be taken from the wealth. By Allah, if they refuse to give me even a tying rope, which they used to give to Allah's messenger, I would fight them for withholding it.'" That's a lot to take in, so let's break it down. Abu Bakr says he's going to fight people for refusing to pay zakat. Umar replies, like a Western politician, "But Muslims aren't supposed to kill Muslims." Abu Bakr says, "We can't discriminate between zakat and salat." In other words, if someone stops praying 5 daily prayers, we recognize him as an apostate. But the same prophet who told us to pray also told us to pay zakat. So if someone refuses to pay zakat, he's an apostate. If someone refuses to give me a piece of rope that he used to give Muhammad, I'm coming to kill him as an apostate because he's not following Islam. That's when Abu Bakr launched what are called the apostate wars. Everyone had to be brought in line with orthodox Islamic doctrine and practice. If you didn't stick to the fundamentals of Islam, Abu Bakr was coming to kill you. And what is the Islamic State doing? Exactly what Abu Bakr, Muhammad's closest companion and the first of the rightly guided caliphs, did. In fact, what was the war name selected by the new caliph of the Islamic State? Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He's the new Abu Bakr doing for the new caliphate what the original Abu Bakr did for the original caliphate. So when Western politicians and the media say that the Islamic State is going against Islam, they're saying that Abu Bakr and Muhammad's closest companions went against Islam. And no one who understands Islam would ever say that, because Muhammad himself declared that the greatest generation of Muslims was the first generation. People are shocked by all of the killing being carried out by ISIS, but they don't realize how essential this is. According to Muhammad, Islam would spread until it dominated the entire world. If you're a Muslim and you're looking around at the world, something is very, very wrong. Non-Muslim nations have the strongest economies. Non-Muslim nations have the strongest militaries. Muslims are fleeing Islamic countries as fast as they can get visas. The world isn't supposed to be like this. Islam should be dominant in every way. So as a Muslim, you have to ask yourself, why isn't Islam controlling the world right now? You can't blame Allah, he can't fail. And you can't blame the unbelievers, because they can't stop the army of Allah. The only real explanation you can come up with as a Muslim is that Muslims aren't dominating the world because Allah isn't helping them, and that if Allah isn't helping them, it's because Muslims are being disobedient. So the first step in getting the world to be the way it's supposed to be is cracking down on disobedience. And that means a lot of killing. But once all the compromisers have been killed, Allah will once again bless his army, and it will conquer the entire world, as Allah promised.